Welcome guys to yet another update on my Ynnari, and as some of you might remember, the last time we ended on this. So this is where we ended up, with me showcasing my fully painted 750 point army plus the trope master or exarch, however you want to call him. But I didn't stop painting there. I went on with my army because of the situation around the world. We now, most of us have a lot of more free time on our hands, so I wanted to use it wisely. So since then I painted my last remaining Harlequin Ynnari troop unit. It's basically the same loadout as the rest of the guys. One embrace, 2 kisses, and 2 swords, but this time without the fusion pistol, I believe it's called. And yeah, so this is the last squad for now. I will showcase each and every one of them individually for you guys. So learning from my past mistakes, I did more detail on their masks, a little more shading, and not that very vibrant highlights like the last time, but still keeping the same feel as the rest of the army, so they don't stand out when they're in the crowd, but they will stand out a little bit, put side by side with a normal, not the normal, but the previous guy, or maybe not. Maybe some of you will notice the difference and some of you will not, because I don't keep track of my painting. When I mix different paints, I don't keep the track of how much of what color I add. I just try to visually remember the color that I used previously, which is a mistake, and I should start taking notes. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to show you every guy individually, and he's, as I said previously, there's no leader in the trope unit, but I like to envision that my Ynnari force has one, and my trope leaders are the guys with the mask, with the horned masks. So this is the leader. I tried to number my units from 1 to 3 by adding hands. So unit number 1 has 1 hand on their base, 2 has 2 hands, and 3 has 3 hands, but I ran out of these ghoul hands, so I had to mix and match here. But I think if I would add a 3rd hand, it will be too much for this little bases. But let's put them right here for now, because they're not the only thing that I have painted for this army. I always knew when I started this army that I want the Yncarne to be in my army, in my army lists. But I had some difficulties assembling the Yncarne model from the Triumvirate of Yncarne box set, and I asked Janus, good friend of mine, to help me finish assembling it and pin the model. So he did, and after quite a lot of thinking and discussing with my friends Daniel, Janus and Sven about what direction I should go with the avatar, because I was actually thinking of using the Age of Sigmar, the Night Hounds, the Spirit Lady model for it, and basically I have painted and went for the Yncarne model itself. So it's fully painted. You already saw the video of the model showcase if you didn't, go back and watch it. And yeah, I had a massive blast painting this this model up. I really enjoyed every second of it. I went for not for basically a spirit thing that a lot of other guys that painted this model are going for. I wanted to add some gore to it, so I envisioned that this spiritual energy is actually blood that coming off to the base, which I will show you later on. I also painted the model when it was full assembled, and I had no problems with that, and I feared that I will have a problem, but I didn't. So here you can see the base. It's a little bit different from the other bases on this army because I mixed a lot of blood for the blood god paint in the black goo to showcase that it's actually gore coming out out of the ground, and that's what materializes this avatar, so to speak. So I also, with a brush, carefully applied this gore up the energy to some point, so it's very gory, and I really like it, and I want to use this technique for some of terrain projects that I have in mind, because it looks great in my mind. So here on this base I used the last remaining hands that I had before all the virus outbreak happened, and yeah, stones I kept them as they are. Some people covered them up with the same paint as the energy floating around, but I wanted them to look separately, to stand out. Now, as for the face, I will try to focus the camera. Yes, I did. As you can see, I didn't put any blood on the eyes because I don't think that this avatar is corrupt as the other guys, so it doesn't need any blood on the eyes. And also, on the other side of the face, it's like, as you saw in the art, there is like a skeleton protrusion there, and I tried to pick it out as much as I could, and if you look closely, you actually will see that it's picked out, and this part of the face, it's covered with a little bit of red wash to make it look like it's itching and still materializing. I also like how the horn came out. I did a lot of shading here, again inspired by Sven. Yeah, and also what I want to do with the legs and arms, I want it to look like it's shape shifting from this black goo. So the body is made from the black mass from the base. The blood is actually the blood from the base, and then it's materializing in this skin actually. So I tried to mimic that with her legs, because that's the only part of the model that is flat enough to try and do it. As you can see in the arms, you can't actually do it because you have this different kind of texture and elder nonsense whatnot. And for the blades and the rest of the army, all their weapons are covered with rust, but here I wanted to add this demonic and supernatural thing, so I went for very dark purple and pink, so it's like it's also materialized from the blood, and it's just now taking shape, and she's holding it, and yeah, so I really liked it how it turned out, and now she's part of my army. So that brings me up to, I think, 1250 points, but I'm still working on the rest of the army. So currently on my painting desk, I'm painting the guys that go on top of transports, like these guys, and then more biker dudes. So I have a total of 8 guys that I need to paint, and they are in their last stages of painting. I have to highlight and shade more on apply more shading on the hair, and then I have to paint of course the weapons. but they will go, these guys will go on the tanks just to add more life to the entire army, because initially, as I think I previously mentioned on the last video, that I didn't have parts to assemble the gunners, so now I have. Now I'm doing them. Also at the same time I'm painting the last remaining Star Weaver that will go to the army, and 2 last bikes. So I have no plans to add any more of them because I'm really tired of painting the same model. While I'm painting the guys that go on top of the bikes and transports, I'm also finished priming my razor wings. I have 3 of them, which will all go into the army. That will be my Drukhari part, and I don't know how I want to go about them. I might actually paint them alongside with the Skyweaver, because the shape of the model is basically the same with all the higher raised areas for me to highlight, and I want to do the same method as I used on the transports here. So in order for the army to look somewhat unified, I might do them simultaneously, but I'm still not sure how I'm going to go about it. So as I said, I have 3 flyers, so let's put them behind the force for right now. I know that you don't see the flyers, but you see the bases, so you have to imagine that they're behind the force, flying above them. So that's that, but that's not it. On a side note, I'm also planning to do a conversion for Yvraine, and I had my hands on this model, which is Yncarne, and I also thought that I had Drazar as well, but looking at my box, I don't think that I had him, but it's very strange. I think I ordered him as well. But I have this model of Yncarne. I really like the aesthetic with the hair flowing and her being jumping, not being attached to the base, but the hair is being attached to the base, and the hair part is very good aesthetically, fitting with the rest of my army. So so I'm thinking to use her as the base for my Yvraine, and I don't want to go too deep into explaining how I want to do it, but one thing for sure is that I'm going to use this box alongside with it, and then I'm going to use bits from blood letters. So stay tuned for that. It's coming very soon. I don't know how it will come out, but I hope that it will come out as good as I have it envisioned in my head. And I also have the original Yvraine model that I assembled as is, because I just really liked how the model looks, and I thought that I have to assemble her as is just for the collection, but she doesn't fit into the narrative of my corrupt Ynnari. So I have to keep her shelved for the rest of the days. So yeah, now back to the main army. Just today in the morning I started priming my Wraith Knight, and I'm very happy with how he came out in terms of conversion. I don't want to add any more of work to him. Basically, here he is. The idea here is that they found this destroyed Wraith Knight that was killed by, I don't know, something, and they corrupted him, and that's why the corruption is breaking from inside out, protruding from his armor, and you see that corruption by this spiritual energy coming out. So yeah, so he has a lot of it on the model, and I did a little bit darken conversion. As you can see, he has nails on his arm. I wanted to make him a little bit more corrupt looking and Dark Elder looking. Also have, you see the spikes on his shield, and more spikes here, and then a little bit spikes on his shoulder pads, on his armor, and on his kneecaps. So I tried to do that. Yeah, basically that's how he looks right now, and he is going also into the main list, and with him in the main list, that brings my army to 2000 points in total. And yeah, I hope that I will finish painting this army by the end of this year. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's going to be no battle reports for now. As soon as the situation be more safer, then we will drop battle reports, because Janus is working now on a new army, which are Necrons. Sven is working on a very fantastic looking Mechanicum army, and Thanos still has his Custodes, and he's thinking about doing Space Wolves again, which is very, very nice. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please stay safe, and I see you in the next one.